last week, Darren, 3 touchdowns, 212 yards. This guy is one of the best running backs in the Low Country. Looking forward to seeing him tonight.
Yeah, well, don't tell that to Josh Shaw. He's going to tell you he's one of the best running backs in the country. He's one of the weightlifting champs in the state as well from last wrestling season. He's a load, man.
740 yards on the season, 15 touchdowns. This guy is averaging a first down every time he touches the ball. 10 yards to carry. I think that's pretty good. I think Art Craig is pleased with his running game.
10 yards a clip is great. Tonight, Hanahan's best defense, their offense, sustaining long drives. The Hawks, the Land Sharks, supremacy in the region. It's coming up on QFS Transportation, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruise Chevrolet.
Ready to go. Region 8 3A championship, you could say, is on the line. Both coaches will tell you not to go that far quite yet. Still 2 games after this. But the reality is the winner of this game, at the very least, has the inside track and is the likely winner of the region, meaning a chance to play 2 home games once you get into the postseason. Glad you're with us for QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruise Chevrolet. It will be the Oceanside Land Sharks to return. A team that comes in having won its last 3 games. They've won 4 of their last 5. Hanahan has 1 loss on their record. You can make a strong case that 1 play in overtime is the difference between an undefeated record for them and the 5-1 mark where they stand today. Blake Moros, an excellent kicker, sends this one back into the end zone. We're going to see 2 good kickers in this game, him and Spencer McKinley. The Land Sharks will begin, and we'll get a look at Colby Shirey. A couple of weeks ago, threw for 250 yards against Bishop England. Last week against North Charleston, it was much more of a rushing attack and a mismatched opponent. But Colby Shirey has been improving as he gets more comfortable down at the 3A level. Kind of thought things would be a little easier coming over from Somerville, but now he is more than halfway through this first year at Oceanside.
Yeah, just new faces and getting adjusted, and he's settling in nicely for Joe Hall.
He gets one out to Blue on the edge, and Blue turns the corner, lunges ahead, and will have close to 8 yards. Last week, Blue had 212 yards and 3 scores. He's averaging 108 yards a game.
When you have that type of running attack, it makes it very easy for your quarterback to be able to throw the football because they're going to be concentrating on the running game, both defenses today. So I'm sure Colby is looking forward to putting the ball in the air tonight.
It's a 4-2 look for Hanahan, and that's what Vaughn Blue goes right at. He's going to be short. It was Nicodine from the defensive line to stop him after a pickup of 1. It'll be 3rd down.
We've said it all night, Darren. The best defense for both of these teams is to keep the other's offense on the sideline. So force 3 and outs, not allow either team to have extended drives. That's going to give the team the best opportunity to win tonight.
3rd down and a short yard. First possession of the game. This is something that Art Craig was fearful of. Shire's ability to run it, and Shire breaks one free into the 3rd level. Shire's across midfield and close to the 40 of the Hawks.
Yeah, he's the quarterback, Darren, but, he's already rushed for close to 400 yards on the season himself, averaging about 55 yards a game. So as we take a look here, nice job of just kind of faking out the defense, able to kind of get around the corner, then turn it up the field. Nice job of blocking down the field by Rico Harrell, and that results in a big play for Oceanside.
31-yard run, a Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. Opening drive of the game, just about a minute and a half into the game, and into the backfield for the first time tonight. Josh Shaw, the stellar running back, will play both ways. His stamina throughout the night is something to pay attention to.
In a game of this importance, Darren, there is no offense and defense. There's just football game. So you got to stay on the field as much as you can, get your best out of your best athletes, and a nice tackle in the backfield by Josh Shaw.
If you're wondering who the offensive linemen wearing some different numbers are for Oceanside, same guys. Freeling is back in his traditional 78. Ashley is back in 76. They help pave the way for Vaughn Blue, darting his way down the sideline with a bit of a stutter step and powering his way inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal.
Yes, I might not be the smartest man, Darren, but I can tell you if I had to run behind somebody, I'd run behind Big 76 or 78. As you see right here, the nice kick-out block there, and Vaughn able to turn on the jets right around the edge, in and out, and then able to finish with authority down inside the 5-yard line.
They'll spot him at the 4. That's a 37-yard run. 2 rushes for over 30 yards on this drive. 1st and goal. It'll be Shirey. Touchdown Land Sharks. 6 plays, 80 yards, and a Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college.
Yeah, if you want to make the right decision, you should run behind Jacob Ashley and Monroe Freeling, as we just saw there on the quarterback keeper. Easy drive for Oceanside. Now it's time for Hanahan to make some adjustments on the defensive side. Now they'll have to counter what Oceanside just did.
One of the better kickers in the state here, Spencer McKinley. I already told you we got 2 good kickers, although this one is kind of a sidewinder. He does put it through, and it's 7-0 Oceanside. Art Craig said something interesting to me today. He said, I don't know if Oceanside is as worried about us as we are about them. Their size is concerning.
Yeah, it's almost like a college offensive line. When you look at Oceanside on that left side specifically, you got Ashley, he's 6'6", 300 pounds. Monroe Freeling, he's 6'7", 280. So those are some big bodies to run behind. That defensive line of Hanahan, they definitely have their work cut out for them tonight.
When you're talking about a college offensive line, it is. Freeling will basically pick where he wants to go to school. Jacob Ashley has already committed to UNC Charlotte. Champaign in the middle has an offer from Morehead State. And Will Goss, a guard, has interest from FCS schools like Wofford and the Citadel.
And Joe Call, one of the better coaches, in the Low Country. Obviously started his career out at Somerville, now over at Oceanside, doing a great job of taking over for Chad Greer, who's now back in North Carolina and Charlotte. And all he's done is really continue this program of building for Oceanside. Anytime you got a guy that played at your school, Darren, and now starting quarterback in the ACC, that's pretty good when you're out there talking about your football program, of course, referring to Sam Hartman, the quarterback at Wake Forest.
Hope you like touchbacks. Hope you're not a big fan of kickoff returns, because you're not going to get kickoff returns, and you're going to get a whole lot of touchbacks tonight.
And the best football teams, Darren, they excel in all three areas: offense, defense, and special teams. So sometimes that's the difference between winning and losing in special teams. Excited to see both of these guys put some big legs into these kicks tonight.
Last man running on the field is a 14-year-old freshman. This team is 5-1 and one play away from being undefeated. Their quarterback is a 14-year-old freshman who this week in practice corrected his head coach. That's how much he's in the playbook. That's how well he knows this offense. And it's going to be Kayvon Rivera with the opening carry. Don't call him Kevon. It is Kayvon for about a yard.
Nice stop there by Rico Harrell, leading the charge of the white jerseys. Coming up on the stop, had a chance to talk to Art Craig on the field beforehand. He said, yeah, the good thing about my quarterback, Jaden Cummins, he's good now, but I got him for 3 more years after this. I'm looking forward to his bright future.
He's completed 64% of his throws. He's only thrown it 39 times. Art Craig will be very happy with 16, 17 play, 8-minute drives. Keep Oceanside's offense off the field. Officially 2nd down and 2. Cummings handles that high snap, and he's got a man down the seam, but he throws it over the head of Wozniak. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Darren, that was going to be one of my keys to a victory. Which quarterback can throw the ball effectively tonight? You have to figure both teams will focus on the running game. You take a look at the replay. Kind of a high snap, but good job by Cummings, able to corral it. Ball just sailed on him a little bit. But, yeah, whichever quarterback I think can spread it around to complement that running game, they're probably going to have the better chance at winning tonight.
Kayvon Rivera, who had the opening carry as a sophomore, kind of took the headlines last year as a stud freshman. Josh Shaw took that to heart and has become the leader of this team. He and Rivera both. 3rd down and 8. Snap kind of floats back to Cummings. Single coverage, and it's off the fingertips. He wanted Braden Joseph, and it'll be a 3-and-out for Hanahan.
Yeah, Zach Hagedorn and also Rico Harrell there on the coverage. It was a nice throw that time, and sometimes there you have to keep the defense honest. So there's nothing wrong with that. An incomplete pass. Now at least in the back of their minds they know, hey, they could attempt to put this through the air at any time. So nice coverage by the defense. Unfortunately for Hanahan, a 3-and-out, and they'll be forced to punt it back to Oceanside.
3-and-out where Josh Shaw doesn't touch the football. Little bit of a wobbler. Zay Offord fumbles it. Hanahan recovers it at the 45-yard line. Wozniak.
Yeah, the senior Mason Wozniak in the right place at the right time. The student section, they like what they just saw. Kind of a low kick. He didn't feel it properly, and Zay Offord just couldn't come up with it. Ball goes off his hands, and Hanahan gets the first break of the night.
That couldn't have worked out any better for Art Craig right there in the T-shirt and hat. Well, that describes a lot of guys and the coaches down there, huh? You go 3-and-out and get the ball back. It's like you hit on that 3rd down bomb.
Right. It happened about the same place. So now let's see if Hanahan can take advantage of the opportunity that's been afforded to them.
Got to believe that Josh Shaw will be featured here. Although he runs into a wall, you're going to see some Oceanside players possibly playing both ways. Number 30, Ron Shawver, pushed that pile backwards. And here are Everett German's Cruise Chevrolet keys to the game.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, Darren. For both defenses, you have to stop the run. That's what both teams want to do. That's what they do best. You got to stop the run. And again, for both teams on offense, you got to be able to throw the football because you know they're going to key on the run. So whether it's Hanahan or Oceanside, stop the run. Be able to throw the football on the offensive side, and that's my keys to the game.
Cruise Chevrolet on Rivers, you've got a friend in the car business. Hanahan takes a timeout here. Hanahan has run 4 offensive plays for 2 yards. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruise Chevrolet.
Just $25 per day. You can avoid the early line and skip the long road at each home game this year. This is a fantastic way to support our school athletes. Purchase, head on over to HanahanAthleticBoosterClub.com.
Both coaches said they've been circling this game. They've been working towards this game pretty much all year. Art Craig was fearful of the size of the defensive and the offensive line in particular for Oceanside. And I'm not sure he was expecting Monroe Freeling to be in on the defensive side as he is right now, right over top the center.
Yeah, we call that kind of a run stop where somebody can definitely keep the offensive line off of the linebackers.
Hanahan tries to do the direct snap to Shaw. It goes back over his head, and he's back to the 42-yard line.
They've had issues with the snap all night long, Darren. On that first possession, a couple of the ones that they sent back were a little high. This time it went over, well over the head of Shaw. Fortunately for him, he had the wisdom to not try to pick it up and make a play, but just fall on the ball and live for third down, which now a tall task for this Hanahan offense.
They lost 13 yards on that high snap. Well, they marked him at the 44, so they lost 11. Third down and long for the freshman Jaden Cummings. That is low. And no ruling yet as to whether or not Braden Joseph caught the football. They'll give him the catch. Now the line judge will come in and overrule that. It appeared it is incomplete. Either way, it was about to be 4th and long. It was just a matter of if it's going to be 5 yards closer or not.
The replay here had an opportunity to kind of step into it. Felt the pressure coming up the middle, right in his face. Couldn't get as much zip on it as he wanted to. Forced the low throw. And once again, the punt team on for Hanahan.
So they've lost 8 yards in their 3 offensive plays. And now this one off the foot of Moros wobbles its way short and out of bounds. And Oceanside will have fantastic field position after marching 80 yards in 6 plays to begin the game. They'll get their second crack from the 42.
As I offered, he's the happy guy because his unfortunate turnover did not cost his team any points. So now the ball will go back into the hands of this high-powered Oceanside offense. Think about it there. You talk about Oceanside and their wins this year. They're averaging 39 points. And when they lose, they're only averaging 17. So those just show you when they can put points on the board, they're almost impossible to defeat because they can light the scoreboard up very quickly if you allow them.
Ton of talent on this Oceanside team. Slow start was largely because of a really hard schedule to open things up as Blue navigates traffic, slips through a tackle, and plows his way for about 11 and a first down for the Land Sharks, brought to you by Miller Mott College.
Yeah, Mason Wozniak on the stop for Hanahan. Again, Blue able to turn the corner. You got to keep those guys inside. He's doing a great job of getting outside and picking up positive yards for Oceanside.
About 4 weeks ago, we had the Oceanside-Buford game at Johnson Haygood Stadium, and that's when Joe Call said he's finally healthy. He's had a good week of practice, full week of practice, and he's been unstoppable since. Back to Blue here, shows some patience, and then runs into Aiden Keller as the safety puts a shoulder into him and puts him down after a run of about 7.
Yeah, great patience shown by Blue. We've seen that over the past couple of weeks. Besides Simmons from Goose Creek, you had from West Ashley last week, Porter. Those guys just have ability to allow the play to develop itself, and then when that hole's there, kind of explode through it. So it looks like Blue is on that same track that we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
3 start 100-yard games. 400-yard games this year for the 170-pound junior. But this is Rico Harrell, who was the decoy. It is Shirey up the middle, and Shirey takes what the defense gave him. He gives up at the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 21 and a first down.
Ashton Drayton on the stop for a Hanahan. Big runs by the quarterback, and you can tell they're keen on Blue. So, the defense is flowing with him, and give credit to the quarterback. He'll be able to, again, just expose that defense in the hole and get positive yards for this Oceanside offense.
180-pound senior is Colby Shirey. Came over from Somerville. This is his first year. This is Joe Call's second year. Call is 46-30 in 7 years as a head coach. This time the other way, they do give it to Harrell, and Harrell is brought down by Shaw. Yeah, strength in the upper body.
Shaw's having to do a little bit of everything tonight. We talked about him in the pregame about offense, but his biggest contribution tonight might be the defense, as you see a replay here again, trying to get around. Nice job of the defensive end, not allowing him to turn the corner, turning him back to the defense that's flowing that way. Nice defensive stop by Hanahan.
Part of the game plan for Oceanside, this won't shock you. Try and wear out Shaw on this side of the ball so he can't impact you on the other side. 2nd down and 7, RPO for Shirey. Ton of room for Shirey. Down the sideline, inside the pylon. Touchdown for Shirey. 2nd touchdown of the night for Colby Shirey. A Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college, and it is 13-0 Landsharks.
Yeah, Shirey heard you and I, Darren, talking about Vaughn Blue. He was like, not so fast, my friends. I can run it as well. And Shirey now, his 6th rushing touchdown of the year. And right now, it's been all Landsharks here in the first quarter.
5 plays, 58 yards. Taking over at their own 42 after the short punt. Oceanside has marched down the field for 80 yards in 6 plays and 58 yards in 5 plays, while their defense in 2 possessions, really, for Hanahan has held the Hawks to -8 yards.
I don't know if it's the nerves or the bigness of the game. You mentioned it, Darren. Oceanside playing a tough early schedule, playing against Butler out of Matthews, North Carolina. Played Gray Collegiate, one of the top, I believe, 3A teams in the state. And then C.E. Murray and Myrtle Beach is always a perennial power in the state. So, and then a Buford, a team that's, classification above them. So those types of games get you ready for this type of game. And right now, Art, Craig, and the Hawks have got to come up with a solution. Really can't afford to have a 3-and-out here. They need to get something going offensively.
We're just barely past the halfway point in the first quarter. And Oceanside has a 14-0 lead. Last night, the 2 JV teams played. They were both undefeated when they matched up. Oceanside won it. Every varsity player for Oceanside was at that game. And Joe Call said it fired him up a little bit. He said there was a buzz. Both coaches did. Kind of a buzz around school. Understanding that it's the big game today.
Nice little rivalry brewing between the 2 of them.
Kayvon Rivera intentionally got that ball before it crossed the goal line. And he's able to make about 4 extra yards, maybe 3, depending on where they spot this ball.
Yeah, Rivera might definitely be needed. He may need to be the go-to back on the offensive side of the ball because Shaw may have to end up playing a lot more on the defensive side to kind of give them a chance. But right now, nothing to stop this Oceanside offense. Let's see what Hanahan can counter with. Just got to string a couple of first downs together to get that confidence going.
Little bit of a fumble pitch there. That ball was tumbling as Cummings pitched it back.
It seems like they're just out of sync right now. The snaps, getting the ball to the running backs, just nothing seems to be working. Timmy Castaigne thought he had a fumble recovery. He was right there to pounce on it almost. Also had some assistance from Ben Brenton, but unfortunately for Oceanside, not able to come up with it. And once again, these snaps and handoffs seem to be an issue for Hanahan.
Cooper Smith in the game along with Josh Shaw, the 2 backs in there right now. Shaw, the one in motion, and he drops this pitch and then falls down.
And that was an easy pitch to handle, so I don't know what's going on. That's just lack of concentration for Shaw. I don't know, maybe that already kind of fatigue after playing on the defensive side of the football, but yeah, that was not a bad pitch at all. And it's almost like he's having to stop to catch it. You want to kind of, in rhythm, kind of almost lead him to where he's going with that pitch. So big 3rd down here. And for me, Darren, this would be a great time to call maybe a screen, something easy that your quarterback can execute.
It's 3rd down and 17. Has the man on the quick slant here, and he missed him. Braden Joseph, the intended target. And it'll be a 3-and-out for the Hawks again.
Yeah, just no chemistry, nothing in sync. And this was just an opportunity to maybe try to catch the defensive napping, but give credit to Oceanside. They were in the right place at the right time. And nice stop by the Landsharks. Good to see Dave Spurlock over there, one of the assistant coaches for Hanahan.
Yeah.
Longtime athletic director of Charleston County School District. Also was a football coach at St. Andrews back in the day.
That ball was deflected. An Oceanside player got in and got a hand on it. I think it was Rhett Powell. And Oceanside will take over. We're at the 35, at the 36 with a 14-0 lead.
Yep, it absolutely was. Because he kind of kicked the ball into Powell. Had he kicked it straight, it would not have been blocked. So good job by Rhett Powell, the 5'11" senior linebacker. And right now, if you're Art Craig, you're like, whatever we do, let's just get out of this first quarter and regroup. But right now, I mean, it is all Oceanside. And normally, Darren, we see a lot of football. You have a play like that, this is where you want to go for the jugular and take a shot for the end zone. Let's see if Joe Call is thinking what I'm thinking.
Joe Call said the reason they played tough non-region games to get ready for Hanahan. He followed that up by saying, we've had specific installs planned for this game that we've worked on all year just to have it ready for this game that's not on film. A delay a game was probably not one of those, but they'll back up 5 yards.
Yeah, you know, I mean, these guys, they know their competition. They know the region. They know who they're going to have to go through. So, you know, smart scheduling by Joe Call. You know, you need to win your region. That's what really matters the most. And, you know, right now, it appears that Oceanside definitely in the driver's seat to do that.
If you're joining us late, you've missed a couple of touchdown runs from the guy who's about to throw it. Shirey into triple coverage. What's the call? Incomplete. It is incomplete.
So Joe Call was thinking what I was thinking. Just go for the jugular. Just could not quite complete it. And, you know, Darren, when you're running the ball as well as Oceanside is tonight, that's no, because you got second down. So, okay, now we'll put it back on the ground and kind of pick your poison. Obviously, Shirey's been the man tonight, but you can't sleep on Blue because he could hit you as well.
Wozniak still campaigning that he caught that. It's second down and 15. Third possession for Oceanside. They've gone 80 yards in 6 plays and 58 yards in 5. And Shirey, feeling good with his legs, picks up what was lost on the penalty, maybe an extra yard there. And the combination of Kwame Parker, 56, and Big Solomon Towns, 72, forced third down and 9.
You have to think these guys on the defensive side, they've been on the field essentially the entire, you know, first quarter. So hopefully fatigue won't be an issue for the Hawks. But right now, if they can find a way to get a stop here, that would be huge for Hanahan.
Shirey with pressures off the edge. Now Shirey doesn't feel Shaw behind him. That ball's free, and it's scooped up by the Hawks. It's Aiden Keller who brings it back across midfield, and the Hawks catch another break.
And that's a big break for the Hanahan defense. Shirey could have definitely just taken off. It's almost like, Darren, he slowed down once he crossed the line of scrimmage. Felt the pressure, stepped up in the pocket. You see here, like he was looking like he wanted to throw the football. He was past the line of scrimmage, so he should have just probably could have gotten first down had he just, you know, run without the thought of potentially throwing the football. So a big break for Hanahan, but it's all for naught if they don't capitalize on it.
Remember, they had a break after their first 3 and out. The punt was fumbled. Got it back around here. Basically went 3 and out again. Shaw handles this pitch just fine, and you can see the jersey being tugged from behind by Carson Arnold. That jersey's gotten tugged so often this year, it's been ripped 3 different times.
Wow.
If you ever see a 32 out there, it's because 34 has been ripped off, literally, the back of Josh Shaw.
Wow. Well, as many times he's carried the football, it makes sense this year for sure. A lot of people trying to drag the big guy down from behind.
Inside 2 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. Another try for Shaw here, and he just moves the pile. Rico Harrell from behind. Zach Hagedon in front of him. It'll be third down and about 3.5.
And Britton also on the stop. That's one thing I've noticed so far, Darren, here in the first quarter. It's like roll call at the football for Oceanside. A lot of black helmets around the football. That's what you want to see if you're the coaching staff at Oceanside.
Timeout Hanahan. Second timeout of the quarter.
I think he was trying to draw them off sides with a hard count, and it didn't work. So Art Craig forced to take another timeout.
The size of the defensive front for Oceanside has been a large story of this first quarter, the inability to get any push for this offensive line. Art Craig, who knows this system, I mean, I'd say as well as he knows anything else, like family members. I mean, he's been doing this for over 20 years, and he's been doing it very well. In 24 years, he has 233 wins. He probably saw a defensive alignment he didn't like.
Yeah. I mean, you got both coaches tonight having success at other schools. I mean, it's kind of hard to think about Timberland without thinking about Art Craig. And obviously at Somerville, Joe had the tough task of following after his grandfather, the great John McKissick, the all-time winningest coach in high school football history there at Somerville. Did a great job there, had some deep runs in the playoffs. I think one year they even got to the lower state final, and then wanted just a different challenge. So now he's over here making a name at Oceanside, and him and Art Craig doing a phenomenal job at their new schools.
Here's Shaw. Shaw bounces off Arnold, who had him squared up, and picks up the first down with the yards after contact. A Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports.
Yeah, he's a Steven Seegers tackle away from taking that to the house. A touchdown saving tackle by Seegers, so nice job. And slowly but surely, you're starting to see this Hanahan offense trying to get a little momentum, getting a little confidence in what they're doing. Game's starting to slow down for them now.
Direct snap, high snap. Kayvon Rivera handles it, and Timmy Castaigne was on his back after a run of about 3. That's what Art Craig said it himself. If we're 3-3-3, 4th and 1, I'm okay with that.
Right. Maybe on these direct snaps, maybe the running backs can just back up just a little bit. So if it is a high snap, it kind of comes down to you instead of trying to, jump and secure it from going over your head. So fortunately for Hanahan, he was able to come up with that, and looks like, Darren, the final play of the first quarter?
Oh, yeah. Hanahan will let that clock run out. Every chance they get to run seconds off, minutes off, they're going to take it. That'll be the final play of the first quarter. And it comes with Hanahan finally getting some momentum. They've got a couple of turnovers. Stalled out after one. Now they're on the move after the second. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, heads to the second quarter. Alongside Everett German, Darren Goldwater with you. We've been talking about the implications for the region. The winner of this will likely win the region, which means you could have 2 home playoff games. Both teams have been circling this, focusing their energy of the season on this game. One of them came out on fire. That's Oceanside. The other one's taken a little bit to get on track. But now Hanahan, after taking their second fumble, has just picked up their first down 2 plays ago. And this will be the 5th play of their current drive, trailing 14-0.
Yeah, Darren, it's almost like a heavyweight bout. Oceanside came out, they hit first. To a certain degree, Hanahan was able to, absorb that hit. Kind of got them a little wobbly, but now they kind of regained their balance, and now they're going to see if they can get their first points of the evening.
On the edge, it's Rivera. Slips through an ankle tackle, taken down up high. He was caught by Castaigne off the defensive line, and he lost his shoe in the process. It'll be third down and a 2.5 or 3.
Castaigne, another good-looking defensive lineman / linebacker here in the Low Country. Good size, 6 feet, 260, runs well, sideline to sideline. And there's a ton of talent here, Darren, in the Low Country. And obviously, we saw Goose Creek and Berkeley 2 weeks ago. Last week, it was Ashley Ridge and West Ashley. And tonight, these two, just very impressed with what I've seen thus far from high school football in the Low Country.
Shaw waiting for that. Then look at that. It's Jaden Cummings who leads the way for him through the hole. But I think he'll be marked just short. It looks like it'll be about 4th and a yard or a touch less than a yard.
Yeah, he definitely went the quickest route. Probably could have bounced it outside and had a little more running room, but wanted to turn it up the field. Good job blocking by the offensive line of Hanahan, but you called it, Darren, about a yard short. Art Craig, no hesitation at all. He's going to keep the offense on the field. Somehow they got to find a way, Darren, to come up with 2 yards here.
Well, it's pretty much exactly what he said, right? 3, 3, 3, 4th and 1. I'm good with it. First opportunity on 4th down. Shaw and Rivera this year have combined for 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. It'll be Shaw. It'll be Shaw backing his way pretty close to the line to gain, and I think right at the line to gain.
He definitely kind of tiptoed through the hole that time. I'm sure Art Craig would like to see him hit that hole at full speed and not, kind of at that point you really can't afford to be kind of picky and choosy. You just got to get up in there and push. So you see he started out and then he just kind of slowed down and kind of gave up. You're not sure if you're going to pick up that first down, so that's why you got to push until you know for a fact that you have a first down, and we'll have a measurement.
The other thing that happens when you back up, you lose yards. Your forward progress, the ball is behind you. It is not at the yard further.
And Darren, short, first down, short.
It is short. By that much, you couldn't even tell it was short. That's how close it was from the angle you just got.
Yeah, you saw the Oceanside players kind of eyeing it as well. It was that close, so it must have been maybe a chain link between the two, but Oceanside comes up with a huge stop, but a promising drive for Hanahan. Now, if you're that Hanahan defense, get the ball back to your offense as soon as you can. The offense finally starting to feel good about themselves. Look at 78 and 76, all on the same side. Jacob Ashley and Monroe Freeling. Left side, I think if you need a yard or two, definitely run behind those two.
It's one of the reasons there was a lot of preseason expectations for Oceanside. You got Freeling, who has offers still piling up pretty much from everywhere. Ashley, who's already committed to UNC Charlotte. And they tried to run that way and got stuffed.
Good job. Good penetration by the Hawks, led by William Dennard, the senior linebacker, making the stop for Hanahan. And that's, if you are Hanahan, if you can keep them in 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, you can't allow them to pick up 4 and 5 yards, on first down.
Oceanside spreads the field. It'll be Shirey who gets a pull block there from Freeling, but Shirey has to give up there on the edge. Covered up by Ashton Drayton, the 6-foot sophomore, and that's part of the story of this defense. Man, they're young. You have sophomores. You've got less than seniors all over the place.
The good thing about sophomores are next year they'll be juniors. They're gaining that valuable experience right now, playing at a high level against a tough opponent like Oceanside. It may not necessarily pay off for you tonight, but you best believe Art Craig is building this program the right way with these youngsters that are going to buy in and be here for years to come.
On the option, here's Vaughn Blue. A defender slips down. It was Ori. It paves the way for Blue to hurdle a man as he crosses midfield, and he's out of bounds in Hawks territory.
You got to get him on the ground somehow, some way. You can't allow. That was a lot of yards after initial contact. A nice hard run there by Blue. Never gave up on the play. Give him credit. A big play for Oceanside.
They say he went out of bounds at midfield. That's Ori right there. He was in the right spot. He just slipped.
What about that block from Jace Krafchick, the junior wide receiver, blocking down the field? People don't understand. I mean, if you're a wide receiver, your main job is to catch the football, but 1A is also the block for those guys when they get to that second and third level. And that was a great job by Kraftchick.
Not many coaches in the area would agree more than Art Craig on the other sideline. Here's Blue now, hesitating, then bursting through the middle and powering his way through the third level for a gain of 9 yards. QFS Transportation is proud to present each participating home school this check for $500. The grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Over the past 11 seasons, Friday Night Rivals and our sponsors have donated over $120,000 to Lowcountry students and schools. Congratulations from MyTV Charleston, ABC News 4, and QFS Transportation.
Yeah, good to see Tom Gallus down there, the principal here at Hanahan High School. A great guy, one of the best principals, in town. Just a solid guy, and happy for him and his role here at Hanahan.
Timeout before this second down play. Oceanside has been in control. They've fumbled it twice. A punt return, and Shirey had one punched out by Shaw. Hanahan was able to get a little bit of momentum going, but then turned it over on downs by inches, leading to this Oceanside drive.
And Darren, I don't want to leave out the other two offensive linemen for Oceanside because all 5 of them are doing a great job. I've talked about Freeling, talked about Ashley. Also, Zach Champagne seems to be the center. And then those guys on the right side, Darren, I know you have them. I hadn't been able to see those numbers yet. Looks like, 54?
54 and 56.
So we'll make a shout out to Shane Mahoney and also Will Goss. Those are the big hogs up front, opening those big holes for Shirey and Vaughn and doing a great job.
56, Goss is a senior. Teams like Wofford and Citadel love him. If Wofford's after you, it means your grades are there. If both those schools are after you, it means you're a tough-nosed guard.
Right. And you got to think about those types of schools. They don't want the 300-pound offensive lineman. They want the 260, 265, 275 guys that can move because of the type of offense that they run. He'll fit in nicely should he end up there.
And he's the one who leads Vaughn Blue into the hole here. It takes a host of Hawks to bring him down. Josh Shaw is in on it, so is Aiden Keller. A first down brought to you by A&I Fire and Water Restoration, making your house home again after disaster strikes.
I just love the way that Vaughn holds that football. You are not going to force a fumble on him. Look how he holds it nice, high, and tight to him. Close to the shoulder pass, lowers his head, secures the football. Nice hard run by Vaughn. And it's another first down.
Shirey just looks so poised, just in control. Here's Vaughn Blue. This helps for the poise, doesn't it? A burst of about 14 yards. He was down long before that ball came out. And another A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down.
It never fails, Darren. Just as I mentioned, he's not going to fumble the ball. Now, granted, that was well after the play, so that's kind of a half. He came out as he was giving the ball to the official, but he's getting into the second level before he's even getting touched. Great blocking by the offensive line. Your running back can't get to that secondary without being touched. Give credit to that offensive line of Oceanside. They're doing a great job of keeping those linebackers off of Vaughn and Shirey.
Here's Blue now bouncing it to the outside. And he's double-teamed on the edge and slammed down by Malik Ori. Art Craig said that's been the biggest surprise for the Hawks this year, only his second year playing ball.
Monroe Freeling literally blocked 2 guys by himself. Watch him here on the left, number 78, got 76 right there. There's 2 guys right there. Took him out himself. Vaughn, maybe a little fatigued, a little tired. Didn't get to the corner as quickly as he has been getting. But, again, a tough run by him. And the drive will continue for Oceanside. But, Darren, it looks like we have some laundry on the field.
Yeah, we got a hold. So back to the 27.
See Joe Call there, the head coach. Played quarterback at the Citadel. Also starred at Somerville, doing a great job here at Oceanside.
First touch for Zay Offord. And Offord leaps over his own man and is caught from behind. That's Shaw who caught him from behind. They're accomplishing one thing, Oceanside is. They're making Shaw run sideline to sideline defensively.
And that's got to be by design. Everything's trying to get to the outside as a linebacker. The one thing you don't want to have to do is run sideline to sideline. But you're right, Darren. They're always trying to get it outside, and then they set them up. Just as you're looking outside, that's when Shirey will fake and take off up the middle. Brilliant offensive game plan by the offensive coaching staff of Oceanside thus far.
Winners of 3 straight. 4 of their last 5 are Oceanside. First carry here for Tucker Swisher. And the interior of the Hawks defense forces a 3rd down and about 14.
See the big guy right there in the middle, Solomon Town, the junior, leading that charge. That's never usually a good sign, Darren, when you see those hands on those knees and hips. Means fatigue is starting to set in, but again, you have a huge 3rd down here. 3rd down and, well, 2 sticks. So absolutely there's no way that Oceanside should come up with the 1st down if you're Hanahan. Get off the field right here and maybe force a field goal attempt.
Play action for Shirey. A dart on the money. Touchdown, Strickler.
Wow.
Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college. 24 yards from Shirey to Strickler. His 3rd of the year.
I thought he looked a little tall. He's 6'3", 210. You're right, Darren. A dart right on the money. Hit Strickler in stride. Didn't have to break his stride. Leads him right into the end zone. Touchdown, as Oceanside said, hey, not only can we run it, but we can throw it as well.
Unofficially, I've got Oceanside at 214 yards of offense here in this first half. And officially, I've got him at a 21-0 lead. Shirey's run for 2 touchdowns, and he's thrown a dart for touchdown number 3 on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Art Craig was worried about the size of Oceanside. It's been a big part of this. They've put up over 200 yards of offense in this first half. They've run for a couple of touchdowns. They've thrown for another one. And the Hawks have some hands on hips and questions to be answered with less than 6 minutes to go here in the first half.
It's almost like pick your poison, Darren. You know, run it, throw it. How do you want us to, beat you down the field? So it's been all land shark thus far. But even that being said, Darren, if Hanahan can find a way to get some points on the board right here before the half, if they get the ball to start the second half, just got to somehow, at worst case scenario, Darren, you have to go in the locker room trailing 21-0, preferably 21-7, but definitely not 28-0.
This kick is actually returnable. Zigzagging out across the 20, I believe that's Kayvon Rivera. It is. They'll spot him close to the 25.
So what can Art Craig go into his bag of tricks and come up with something to really get this offense going, whether it be a big play? Because the passing game has been there. They've just not been able to connect on it thus far.
And they haven't been able to find really any running room for Shaw, for Rivera.
And as you know, Darren, when you can't throw it, it makes it very difficult to run the football as well.
Cummings pulls. Now Cummings gets walloped as he gets this on the edge to Wozniak. It'll be a first down for the Hawks and a pickup of 12, but Jaden Cummings is running off the field, clutching his midsection.
Tell you what, when I was 14, I was not making big plays like that. Cummings, that was an outstanding play. He knew he was going to get hit, had the ability to still complete the pass, but as you mentioned, Aaron, he's a little shaken, and the backup quarterback will come on the field now.
It's him. He just went over to get the play call from Art Craig.
Tough. 14. Just last year, he was in middle school.
5'10", 150, and he just took a hit that would have put you and me down for a minute.
Just the thought
a good minute.
Just to see the defender coming to me would have had my ribs hurting.
Just the second first down for him. This has been part of the problem. You haven't had the clean exchanges. A loss of 2.5 on the pitch back to Rivera.
And you almost want to tell your center, even if you have to take some off of it. Now, that one was just a hard line. That was like a grounder. But even if you need to take some off, just get the ball back to him where he can catch it. You know, don't roll it back to him. Don't hike it over his head. And obviously, he's not doing it on purpose. But you can't have big plays like that and then, of course, have a bad play to negate what you've already done. So I'm sure the center will be coached at halftime on just being able to get the ball back to his quarterback.
Oceanside got the ball first, so a Hanahan score and a time-consuming drive, and maybe they get it back. Over the head of Wozniak, it'll be third down and long. And a flag.
A little taunting probably by Alford.
That ball was 5 feet over the head of Wozniak. So it's probably what was said afterwards.
Right. Got to be taunting, because definitely not pass interference.
Meanwhile, I keep looking down at Jaden Cummings on the sideline, talking to Art Craig. He's still holding that midsection.
Personal foul, so yeah. You see a replay here. He actually had him on the initial move, but it was like an out and up move.
Got him on that shove, I guess, or maybe it was that taunt.
I'm assuming Alford must not have invited him over to watch the game tomorrow, I'm thinking.
Meanwhile, his dad, Willie, is the defensive coordinator. Zay Alford.
Right. Played at South Carolina.
He did.
I think his dad was a cornerback as well, now that I think about it.
He was. Alford plays both ways here. Look out. Oceanside swarms Cummings. It's Roan Shawver, who's led the team in tackles the last couple of years. We introduce you to the third member of our crew, Trooper Bob.
Into it, especially the student section right here.
This is a great. It can't be much better than this student section.
I'm here with Principal Gallus on the field right here at Hanahan High School. How things going at Hanahan this year?
Hey, it's a great school year. We obviously kept safety in mind at the start of the school year here, but our kids have done an awesome job. Obviously, we're doing great on the football field. Our band has went and won competitions. It's been an awesome start to the school year. This community is awesome. I mean, look at the support we've got here.
And you got a donation drive coming up this year. Tell us more about that.
Yes, sir. We partner with the Ronald McDonald House of Charleston, where we donate. We do a donation drive. We make it a Clemson-Carolina battle amongst our kids here at school, and we donate items. 2 years ago, I think we had 900 items that we donated, and it's just so awesome to go down there and give that to the Ronald McDonald House.
Hey, thank you very much for coming out. Everett, he was telling me about an auction he won to sit next to you and do sports over here for a game.
Dog pound. That's right, the dog pound.
Right, those are the days.
Thank you.
The dog pound.
Yeah, the good old days.
Oh, memories.
Yes. But again, Tom, just a great guy. Outstanding principal. A good young man, leader of men and young ladies, and Hanahan's definitely in good hands.
Look at that tackle. Sticking a nose down. Steven Seegers going right after the big back Rivera.
Got to go low, because if you try to tackle him high, you'll end up on Sports Center for sure. So definitely outweighed here. But Seegers did a good job getting low, grabbing those legs. You can't run if you don't have legs. And then he got some help from his friend Carson Arnold. Roll call at the football for Oceanside.
If Hanahan can't find a way to sustain drives in the second half, this is going to be a long night. And that is stating the obvious.
Just get the punt off.
He does. A low line drive. And this will be where are we going to mark it? At the 20? It'll equal the starting field position of Oceanside's first drive. Every other drive has been farther ahead. The 42, the 36. And their last touchdown drive was right around here at the 24.
You best believe Joe Call has that killer instinct in himself. 2 minutes and 41 seconds left there, and I expect to see the 2-minute offense. The way they've been running the ball, they know they can get large chunks at any time, but look to see for the passing game of Oceanside to be on display here over the next 240.
Shirey really hasn't had to throw it much. He threw a touchdown on the last play they ran. Other than that, maybe one other pass thrown. It's just been mostly Blue and Shirey with the legs. Wozniak, number 3. Number 2, Ashton Drayton. Help on the stop, but that pile moves about 8 yards.
And that's kind of get those additional yards during the summer months when you're in the weight room, when it's hot and you're lifting weights and you're working on those legs. That's when it all pays off on nights like tonight because of the work that you put in over the summer. So you're right there, and that pile just continues to move. Hanahan, you got to keep them off the scoreboard here over the next 2:10.
Hanahan's only lost once all year. It was a play in overtime. They got
Stratford, right?
Yeah, they got clipped by Stratford in week 2, 15-14.
This is a Hanahan team undefeated at home this season, 3-0, averaging 42 points a game. So this is not what Hanahan fans are used to seeing, is the Hawks potentially going into the locker room being held scoreless in the first half.
By far the biggest test they've had this year, both in terms of the skill of the team and the actual biggest, the size of them. Here's Blue stretching it out, and he eventually slides down. Aiden Keller was in the backfield. I guess you can credit him with the stop. It'll be 2nd and long.
It looked like Zy Offord had a nice block to momentarily kind of free up Vaughn. But as you mentioned, Vaughn not able to get many additional yards after that. So clock starting to not be a friend of Oceanside, as you can see. Let's see what they dial up here. Tell you what, Darren, at the bottom of the screen, you got one-on-one coverage here. I throw it to the big guy at the bottom of the field.
Well, Shirey pumps the other way, then he goes deep the other way, and it is out of the reach of Krafchick. 3rd and 12.
To the wide side of this field, they have a safety over the top, but he was kind of inching up. So, again, you got Cole Strickler, who caught the touchdown on the last possession. He's 6'3", 210. Right now, one-on-one going against Nathaniel Parson. He looks like he's given up about 4 or 5 inches. So in those types of situations, you can almost just throw a jump ball, tell Strickler to go get the football and make a play.
I've got Shirey for 3 pass attempts. This will be number 4. Pressure off his backside. It doesn't get there as the ball wobbles incomplete. And Hanahan will have a crack here with less than 50 seconds left in the quarter.
And that's a big stop by that Hanahan defense. Hopefully they can carry that momentum. As you look here, great penetration by the front 4 of Hanahan. And I don't know who tipped the ball, Darren, but somebody definitely got a hand on it. Forces a punt. And I'm pretty sure Art Craig just wants to get into the locker room. Don't take any chances. We've seen some issues with the snaps all night tonight. Get under center, take the snap, take a knee, and then go into the locker room and do what Art Craig's done for, what'd you say, Darren, 24 seasons?
24.
As a head coach, and just make the adjustments and see if he can kind of get back in this game.
This is just going to take more time off the clock. This is going to help the average. Spot that at the 23. 48-yard punt there for Franzoni.
For the first time this season, Darren, at halftime, it won't be a homecoming, so it'll be a nice normal halftime for us this week. But so far, this game's kind of flying by, Darren. You know, 2 great teams offensively. First half, the advantage obviously is in the advantage of Oceanside, but game of football, it's 4 quarters.
Well, they're not taking a knee. This is Shaw, who slips off Shawver and then gets into that 3rd level. It'll be a run of 8.
Shaw's a load. I mean, that guy He just looks like that big bowling ball type of running back, that those big, strong legs that can run through tackles, as we saw there. Thought they were going to have a tackle for a loss in the backfield by Rowan Sharver, but not able to make the play. And I guess, Darren, will that be the final play of the half?
By the looks of Hanahan, yes. That's it. Hanahan's offense doesn't muster much. In fact, that 8-yard run's one of their bigger plays of that first half. It was dominated up front by Oceanside. It was dominated by Shire's legs. A couple of rushing touchdowns for the senior quarterback and a passing touchdown for Shire. And Hanahan can regroup. They'll get the ball to begin the third quarter in a game that will likely decide the region. Oceanside has come out and controlled the first 2 quarters. Halftime around this break on QFS Transportation. Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Halftime report brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. Joe Call's got a ton of experience. He's with Trooper Bob right now.
Yeah, guys, I'm on the sidelines with Coach Call. Coach, 21-0 first half. Are you able to shut them out the first half? What have you? Are you happy with your team's performance so far?
Yeah, we with our players, we just really pressed a physical brand of football. We got to be able to run the ball and stop the run. It's been a physical first half for sure. Something else that we emphasized all week is not having silly penalties. So I'm a little disappointed in penalties. We had a turnover right there, gave them a short field. So, we just got to continue to get a little bit better at our execution.
You were able to score on the ground and in the air right here on our side of the field. What else do you want to see in the second half?
Keep running the football. Just keep control. As long as we can run the football and be effective, we can maintain control of the game. And then, kind of take what they give us. They gave us a little coverage right there that we like, so we would run an RPO.
Coach, thank you for your time. I know you want to get with your team for the second half.
I'll give a shout out to my grandmas. I know they can't come to the game, but both my grandmas are watching tonight, so appreciate you guys having them on the air tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Well, you heard it from the coach, and hello, grandmas.
That's the beauty of media, right? If you can't get to the game, you can watch the game, and they're probably enjoying what they're seeing. Their grandson is up 21-0, controlling the game unofficially. It's about 224 yards to 30. Each week, David Ayler Law Offices and Riders Law Group, proud to highlight scholar athletes from each participating school. The students selected have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Let's meet tonight's scholar athletes. Best name, it's a good GPA, but I'm a big fan of the name. Sarver Adams has a 4.67 GPA. He is the scholar athlete from the Oceanside Land Sharks side of things. Meanwhile, for Hanahan, you've heard his name called a time or two, Foster Nicodine. How many decimal points do you get for your GPA? I mean, that's close enough to 5. Can we round it up?
I would say I'd just be happy. Well, mine, take the 4 off. And then
0.936.
what I'm used to. So great job by Foster.
While playing both football and baseball in the process. Again, both of them now eligible for a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season, courtesy of David Ayler Law Offices and Riders Law Group. Speaking of David Ayler, he visited with Scott Eisberg.
Something special about handing out a $5,000 scholarship check to a very deserving student athlete. David Ayler makes that possible. Why is it? I guess it's just that feeling it gives you down here.
You know, you're giving it to somebody who deserves it. In reality, everybody that puts their applications in deserves it, but it's just so impressive what they do inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and then, of course, on the field in various different sports.
What these kids are overcoming is really special. The last 2 to 3 years, I mean, they have had to overcome a whole lot more than student athletes before them. I guess it makes it even nicer to hand it to somebody that deserves it like that.
Yeah, they've experienced something as students that we never experienced, and they've all come through that. Hoping this year will be smooth throughout, and they'll be able to enjoy themselves on the field and in the classroom.
They've also experienced something that I never did, getting A's on a report card. So
yeah, those GPAs, I don't even understand them. They're so high.
Yeah, David Ayler, presenting sponsor of our Scholar Athlete.
Even the guy who is presenting the Scholar Athletes, he doesn't understand the GPAs either. But congratulations. More coming up on the Roper St. Francis Halftime Report. Halftime brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. We're giving you an opportunity to vote for tonight's Rockstar Cheer of the Night. It's a complicated vote. There's one cheer squad that's going to compete, but we encourage you to vote for them anyway, and here's why. Because a good friend of both of ours, Cyril Samante, his wife Ada, she's the cheerleading coach here for Hanahan. Log on to abcnews4.com/poll. Vote for either of the cheer squads, or how about Hanahan, since they're the only one?
Landshark, get back! Hanahan's gonna show you how to get down. Hey, get down. Hey, get down. Hey, get down. Landshark, get back! Hanahan's gonna show you how to get down. Hey, get down. Hey, get down. Hey, get down. Landshark, get back! Hanahan's gonna show you how to get down. Hey, get down. Hey, get down. Hey, get down. Let's go!
I understand those ladies have a big cheer competition tomorrow out at Fort Dorchester, one of the area cheer competitions. So good luck. And for everyone watching, abcnews4.com/poll. Go vote for them, and they'll win. The Rockstar Cheer of the Night will give you those results. It's going to be 100% to nothing later on in the show. First, though, it'll be more of halftime on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals. Halftime reports brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. It has turned into a gorgeous night out here at Hanahan. We tied a record high today in Charleston. It was 87 degrees. Everyone's celebrating a record high. We tied the record high. I don't understand why the celebration's there of being a record high. That's besides the point. It's cooling off, and that's good because it's football.
Supposed to be gorgeous, yes. Like in the 60s.
How about All-American Awards? Love the trophy. Talk about it all the time. Looks like a mini Lombardi trophy, and the winner of this game will get to keep that trophy as a keepsake in the trophy case at the school. For almost 30 years, All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant has been your local trophy shop, providing both corporate and sports awards to meet your style and budget. Visit Steve and his crew at All-American Awards when you recognize excellence. You can find them on the web at awardsguy.com. That is awardsguy.com. 21-0 is our score at the half. Try and get you updated on a couple other scores, either right before we kick off the third quarter or maybe in the third quarter. I can pass along that at last check, West Ashley was having its way with Somerville in a somewhat surprising score. The Wildcats will be seen on this airwaves next week, taking on Fort Dorchester, so they can string together a little momentum from last week's win with a win over Somerville if they can hang on, and then take that into the Fort Dorchester game next week. But we still have 2 quarters of football here to see if Hanahan can get things righted, trailing 21-0 in a very dominant first-half performance by the Oceanside Landsharks on QFS Transportation. Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet. give you some sights and sounds of the Hanahan Marching Band as they wrap up their halftime performance. I wish I knew the name of the young man who played electric guitar for the national anthem prior to the game, but that was something.
He was solid.
It was pretty cool. Solo act for the national anthem. One of the band members rocking out the electric guitar with the national anthem. The one score we do have to pass along to you, it's Somerville up, 30?
Somerville trailing.
Trailing, yes. West Ashley
35-6.
35-6.
First half.
That's Somerville defense that has been lauded. It's pretty darn good.
You got to think, Darren, if that score holds, that'll set up a huge showdown for the region next week between West Ashley and Fort Dorchester.
Understand West Ashley's JV team beat Somerville's JV team last night as well. Same story here. Oceanside's JV beat Hanahan's JV. And on Friday night here, we've got Oceanside up 3 touchdowns as we get you set for the start of the third quarter here in just a couple of moments. Couple of numbers to pass along to you. Unofficial but close. Offensive totals for OCA, 223 offensive yards. Hanahan with just 30. Vaughn Blue, who we talked about in the open, having 3 straight 100-yard games. Well, it's 4 now. He has 127 in the first half. Colby Shirey with 104 yards on the ground in the first half. Shirey rushed for a couple of touchdowns and then threw the 3rd touchdown against a Hawks team that has matched the highest number of points they've allowed this year, the 21. They gave up 21 to Cane Bay and beat them in the season opening game. It's the most points they've allowed this year. Oceanside gets that in a half. They're the bigger team. They controlled the line of scrimmage. And, well, really the stats tell you. They outgained them by close to 200 yards in the first half, and they outscored them 21-0. Hanahan will get the ball to begin the third quarter, Everett, and it'll have to start up front. It's like what Art Craig said to me. He said, listen, we just want these guys to play hard every single play, because when you go home, you look in that mirror, the results may be what they may be, but if you can't look at yourself and know you gave it everything, that's what they need here.
The beauty of it, Darren, is football, it's a 4-quarter game. So if I'm Art Craig in that locker room and say, hey, guys, you know what? That was a bad half of football. But the good thing is we're still in this game. Now it's our turn. We win the second half, and it's, who remembers the first half? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So, like you mentioned, Darren, the Hawks will get the ball to begin the second half. I'm sure he's saying, hey, let's get the opening drive. Go drive the ball down the field, put some points on the board, not 3, but 7. So that way they'll know, hey, this game is not over. We're going to battle you to the end.
I think the band took a little bit longer than anticipated. So they're just kind of getting out there to get their calisthenics, the warm-ups.
I think they usually give you 3 minutes anyway on top when you come back out to kind of get loose. And again, no panic if you're Art Craig. That's the message you have to preach to your team. No panic. There's still plenty of football left to be played. We just have to, make plays when we get in those third and long situations like we saw in the 3rd touchdown pass for Oceanside there in the first half. We can't allow that, guys. We got to get them off the field, and offensively, we got to hold our blocks, open up the passing game. We can win this game, but you have to believe that we can. And then if you're Oceanside, you know that this is a high-powered offense for Hanahan. So if you're Joe Call, you want to continue running your offense, but you want to have long, sustained drives yourself. Limit the amount of possessions that Hanahan will have here in the second half, and it all starts with the defense. Hey, guys, defense, let's set the tone. Let's kind of kill their dreams. Open and drive, force 3 and out, get the ball back, go down and score, and kind of set that, hey, tonight's just not your night mentality and attitude in the minds of the Hawks.
We've been telling you it's kind of a region championship type feel with 2 regular season games left after this. Oceanside has to play Battery Creek and Academic Magnet. It's not like there are lines on high school games, but they would be heavily favored. And Hanahan has Academic Magnet and Bishop England. And Art Craig was quick to slow my thought process there. He said, listen, Bishop England's a big-time rival of Hanahan's here. And we're not going to say just because you win this game, you win the region. But the way things are going this year, that is the way it looks. The winner of this will be the 1 seed down here, and the one in this region, Region 8-3A, and the loser will be number 2.
And, you know, John Caney, the head coach over at Bishop England, great friend of ours, Darren. His team, they're a little down. The numbers are down. They've been a little banged up. Not your typical, Bishop England team, but they're still scrappy. They're still going to fight you to the end. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're playing Lucy Beckham tonight.
They are.
For their homecoming game. So, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch, but what we're seeing here tonight, these seem to be the 2 best teams in the region, but stranger things have happened. But as they say, or was it Herm Edwards? That's why you play the game.
That's why you play the game.
That's right. He's done a heck of a job at Arizona State.
He's done an outstanding job at Arizona State. Art Craig has done well every single stop he's been at. Right now, he's stopped next to our Trooper Bob.
Coach, still 21-0, but there's still a lot of time. We got the whole second half of the football. What would you like to see from your team?
Well, I'd like to see for us on offense to take advantage of situations. We've had some opportunities, and they're really good on defense. We got to capitalize when we get an opportunity to score.
I saw your quarterback holding his ribs. Is he going to be okay, and can he play the second half?
He's going to be able to play. He's a little sore, but we'll monitor him as we go, and hopefully he can finish the game.
Coach, thank you for your time. Good luck in the second half. There you guys have it. Student section's in it. Everyone's still in it. No one's left the game. We got second half of the football game to still be played, guys.
Very true. Third quarter set to get underway. Hanahan will begin with the football. The reason the ribs of Jaden Cummings are sore, he took a shot in the second quarter and completed the pass in the process, but he got clobbered. So we'll monitor that. He's only a freshman. But it's more about the rhythm, finding a way to get in sync. Yeah, there have been, as Art Craig said, some opportunities there.
Just have to take advantage of them.
Got to find a way to get some push up front, find a way to give Shaw, give Rivera a little bit of room. But what we saw in that first half is, I think, what a lot of people expected from Oceanside this year. And it was a brutal start for him, having to go to Butler to start the year, and they had like a day to get ready for that.
That was a last-minute pickup.
Yeah, I believe they found out at pregame meal on Friday that their game that night was canceled and picked up a Saturday game, if I remember the story correctly.
So no preparation.
None.
On
for
a bus.
Very good team.
Exactly. And those are the types of games that win you state championships, Darren.
That's right. And then their last loss was the Myrtle Beach game, and they almost won that game. And that's a great team. With a receiver heading to Clemson, they might need him. And and since then, this team's been rolling. Just what Joe Call wanted. Set up a hard non-region slate. Prepare us for this game, the Hanahan game. See what happens after that.
That Myrtle Beach program, that's a program. You have the likes of Luke Doty, now the quarterback of South Carolina, and also Everett Golston, who started at Notre Dame, then finished up at Florida State. He was a quarterback at Myrtle Beach, and so that Myrtle Beach program, that's a real program, and be able to go toe-to-toe competitive with them, that should have hopefully given Joe Call kind of pick the spirits up, because that's a good football team, and to be able to compete with them, that's a job well done by his squad.
Hanahan from the 20. Only had about 30 yards of offense in that first half. And Arnold, Shawver, the rest of the Land Sharks defense, they combined for about a 2-yard gain after picking up that stop.
How about the senior 6'3" Carson Arnold? Just filled the gap perfectly as a defensive coordinator. That's what you like to see, is Arnold, you'll see coming from his linebacker position right there, bam, meets him at the line of scrimmage, gets him down, then the rest of his teammates come to assist him, but Arnold definitely was the first guy there to meet the running attack of Hanahan.
Joe Call told me before the Buford game that Arnold is the best linebacker he's coached in 19 years.
When you're 6'3", 220, I have a feeling he'll be playing on Saturdays as well.
Cummings nearly had that one picked off. It was read by Seegers, and if he picked it off, it was a house call. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, that would have been a pick 6. He could have crawled into the end zone. He had nobody in front of him. Did a good job of jumping the route. only got one hand on it. Sometimes they say, Darren, that's why they put them on defense. Good, they hit hard, they run fast. But, yeah, catching, you're not going to be a wide receiver. We'll put you over in the secondary. But a good job by Seekers. And a big third down coming up for the Hawks.
You got to get to the 30. 3rd down and 8. It's the freshman Cummings flipping one downfield and out of the reach of Mason Wozniak, the 135-pound, 5'8 senior. And a late flag has just come in the backfield.
So here again, a nice job. Just airing it down the sideline. But that's such a tight window. Not really a lot of room for error. You have to be right on the spot with that pass. And it's thrown over his head and out of bounds. But it looks like they're going to extend this drive off of a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a late hit there? And I saw.
It was a personal foul. There wasn't a signal given that I saw about exactly what it was.
I saw
and they're not mic'd, so it's hard to hear them.
Yeah, I saw when Cummings was going to throw. It looked like he had a defender coming right at him, so it almost had to have been a late hit or maybe a roughing the passer because he definitely had a land shark coming in his face.
So first down at the 37. Penalty gives him that Miller Mott College first down. Tough sledding through the middle will get about 3 yards to the 40.
Yeah, that was a tough because, initially that offensive line was pushed into the backfield. That front four of Oceanside causing all type of havoc. And to give him credit to make something out of nothing, as you see right there, about 6 white jerseys around him, and he was still able to pick up some yardage. Nice job by Rivera not giving up on the play.
You said something in the first quarter. They didn't look in sync, not in rhythm. I mean, Rivera just ran into Wozniak before he even got to the line of scrimmage.
Right. And that offensive line, they've got to give the backs at least some time to see some holes to expose. But right now, they're literally getting the ball, and they got white jerseys right in their face.
3 down linemen showing pressure with 2 backers. They come. Rivera only to the 40. He is gang tackled. The Land Sharks are rallying to the football. I think the first one there was the lineman, Timmy Castaigne.
Yeah, also James DeVoe was there as well, the 6'3 defensive end, the senior for the Land Sharks. I won't be credited with the tackle, but he definitely was the first there to disrupt what was going on in the backfield, and it's been that way all night long for this Hanahan offense.
A team that's 1 play away, an overtime play away in week 2 from being undefeated. Hasn't been able to find a rhythm today. 3rd down and 7. Cummings wanted Wozniak.
Yeah, he's rushing right now. That time he had time to try to throw the out route, but even then it would not have resulted in a first down. So the Oceanside defense, they do their job. But a nice job by the offensive line, giving him time at least, but just rush that throw. You can see the frustration starting to set in for Hanahan. Tell you what, Darren, as I look at this Oceanside roster, Quentin Hollis, who's the basketball coach over at Oceanside, if he needs a front court, he might want to just come to the football team. The 6'6", 6'7", 6'3", 6'5", 6'2". Like, yeah, that could be a nice front court for you in the basketball hardwood.
Kerry Collins. That'll be 5 yards, and it'll stay 4th down. But now there's a decision for Hanahan.
I was about to say.
You want to go for this. It's 4th and 1.5 yards. Art Craig is going to call a timeout and think about it.
I mean, fourth and what's that? A long one, Darren. As I'll say, 2. I mean, you're trailing 21-0. You got to get something going. If I'm Art Craig, I go for it, and unfortunately, if I don't get it, I just have to rely on my defense.
Art Craig won 2 state titles when he was coaching at Timberland. 18 consecutive winning seasons. Took that into his first year with Hanahan. Went 5-2 with them last year. Only lost 1 region game. It was to Oceanside. They led 7-3 in the 4th quarter. He's 10-3 now in 2 years coaching this team. I mean, this Hanahan program, when he took over, they were 1-8 the year before he got here. This program had seen better times.
Yes.
And he came in, somewhat surprising. It surprised me when the word was hey, Art Craig is leaving Timberland and coming to Hanahan.
Right.
And I think anyone that's been following high school football around here saw that like I did, said, oh, Hanahan's about to be back.
Right.
And he flipped him very quickly.
Just a new challenge. And like you said, he could have stayed at Timberland and been comfortable, but he wanted to challenge himself. And you're right, this Hanahan program, you think back to the Jeff Cruz days, he's had some outstanding players there. I know between Brandon Ford and Malcolm Howard, guys that went on to play at Clemson, also some Broughton kids that were here. I mean, this is a proud program and a proud community here at Hanahan.
4th and 2. The pitch is low. Rivera loses yards. He was first knocked down by Powell, and it's a live ball. Arnold back the other way. A touchdown for the Land Sharks. And the worst possible outcome for the Hawks. Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college. Carson Arnold recovers the fumble. Powell put the hit on, and the Land Sharks are up 27-0.
Yeah, scoop and score for the Land Sharks. You can't blame, Art Craig for going for it. He figured they'd be kind of squeezing down and trying to take away the middle. Tried to test the outside. It wasn't there. Forced a turnover. A big play for Oceanside.
And that has the backbreaker type of feel, right? You get the penalty, and now we're going for it on 4th down. Okay, you don't make it, and wait, the ball's out.
Yes, not only do you not get it, but you also give up 7 points. I think Seegers was the initial guy there for Oceanside. And give credit to Arnold, being in the right place at the right time. Didn't hear the whistle. Scoop, score, 7 points for Oceanside. Actually, 6 points for Oceanside. Or did he miss the extra point?
No, he got it. He drilled it right through. It's the right call. You're right. There's Seegers, then Powell. It's Powell that punched it out right there.
Yep. And that's another senior making a big play. And we look at it, Darren, for the most part, it's the experience of Oceanside that really is paying off right now. We heard Art Craig talk about how young his team was, and that, it's a young group, but they play hard. They're going to fight to the end, and he's just wanting to build off of that. Meanwhile, across the field, Joe Call, he's got a bunch of veterans that have been through the wars. They've been in those big games, and it's showing tonight in this big showdown between Oceanside and Hanahan.
The offensive line for Joe Call at Oceanside, it's been the offensive line since the program started. So you talk about that experience opposite Hanahan that has sophomores playing in some pretty key spots.
A freshman at quarterback.
And that's... McKinley will get this one back into the end zone for the touchback. High school rules, once it gets across the goal line, regardless of fielded anything, kickoff goes across the goal line, it's a touchback.
And it just has not been Hanahan night tonight. And if you're Art Craig, right now you just kind of use this as a teaching moment. You still have a lot to play for in this game and the rest of the season. So you always want to be bettering yourself every time you step on the field. And right now is an opportunity for these guys to, as we always say, don't play the scoreboard. Play as if this is a one-possession game and give it your all.
This clearly is not an offense built to come back from 28-0, but they'll try with Rivera. Biggest play from scrimmage tonight. Rivera puts a little punishment there on the back end into Hagedin. First down brought to you by Millermont College.
I love to see a running back that's not going to avoid contact. He's looking for contact. The big guy that time around the right sideline lowered the boom, finished strong, and that's a first down for the Hanahan Hawks.
17 yards.
Nothing fancy here. Just keep a hat on a hat. Just outrun the secondary, and there you go. Just lower the shoulder.
Notice how little Shaw has carried the ball. They tried a bit in the first half. There were some bad exchanges. But he's needed so much on defense. So it's going to be Rivera. He's the one who had the headlines as a freshman last year. And he kind of lunges forward after bouncing off Offord. About 3 yards.
Yeah, Rivera, he's looking for that contact. Give me the ball. This time running through arm tackles. And once he can improve on his balance, keep his feet, that could have been a big run. But Rivera definitely doing a great job of carrying the load for Art Craig and the Hawks. here on this drive.
And that wasn't what Hawk fans wanted to see. Rivera kind of bent over as he got to the sideline.
Or just need some water, some oxygen, Gatorade, just to catch his breath.
Gave him 5 yards. Cummings pulls, and it's dropped. Braden Joseph was looking downfield as the ball got to him. 3rd down and 5.
And they've had a lot of success on that particular play, that run-pass option, where it appears he's going to run, and at the last minute, he'll fire it out to a wide receiver. So you're right, Darren. He got to catch it first, then take off. Just took his eyes off the ball in a big 3rd down play. Very manageable, 3rd down and 7. So let's see if one of these Hawks running backs can get to the outside, or the freshman can come up with a big throw.
"14-year-old, 5'10", 150 pounds. That's Cummings over the middle. It's bobbled and caught by Wozniak. And Wozniak's inside the 20. They needed a big play, and they got one as Wozniak is slow to get up.
And Harrell with the touchdown saving tackle. And man, am I impressed by that throw by the freshman Jaden Cummings. I mean, that ball was on a rope. And to be 14 to have an arm like that, Darren, I mean, you take a look at this. He kind of steps into this throw, takes his time. Actually didn't kind of step. He threw that as well as he did off his back foot. But to be able to have that arm strength, that was very impressive. A nice circus catch by Wozniak, and almost a touchdown, but again, Rico Harrell there with a touchdown saving tackle.
Looks like he'll be okay. They've tried to hook up a couple of different times throughout this game. That one, the way the game has gone, you could see it easily glancing off his fingertips. But for the senior to find a way to make a play when his team badly needed it. It's a gain of 25, their biggest play of the night.
And it seems like, Darren, he's better when he's throwing the ball on a line drive, on a rope. When he puts air under the ball, that's where they've been having problems kind of connecting. So, yeah, get him on those skinny posts, those quick slants. That's where he seems to excel.
It's a gain of 41. I'm sorry, not 25, 41. And no gain on 1st down. Miller Mott College brings you that 1st down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports.
And Charver leading the way for this Oceanside defense. I'm sure they have pride. They don't want to allow any points to Hanahan tonight. So they're trying to keep the Hawks out of the end zone, and the Hawks are trying to finally have something to show for their effort tonight. And you have to think it's touchdown or nothing here for the Hawks.
Kayvon Rivera, the only back in there. Cummings swarmed, and down he goes. Rhett Powell's the one who got him around the neck.
And the penalty flag.
And that's the same area. He's been clutching that same spot since the second quarter hit.
And obviously Powell didn't mean to tackle him that high, but he definitely had his hands up around the head. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a personal foul against Oceanside. And also the maturity of that freshman there. Did you notice on that scramble when he stepped up in the pocket, he immediately switched it from the right hand to the left hand, knowing that he was going towards the left sideline. Very impressed with Jaden Cummings.
Half the distance to the goal, not an automatic 1st down either because they're on the 17. That's exactly what you're talking about there.
Right there. Definitely Powell got the face mask. And this Jaden Cummings guy, he is just tough. Although he's not in the game right now, they're going to go Wildcat.
Rivera leading the way for Shaw. Got the block down for Shaw. And Rico Harrell manages to stop him. It's a 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal. Miller Mott College proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports.
And this drive is all about pride, Darren. Yeah, we talked about it. Don't play the scoreboard. You want to get this ball in the end zone somehow, some way. And right now you have 4 opportunities to put the ball in the end zone.
We have a substitution here, I would imagine, an illegal one.
I think it's against Oceanside because they're all throwing their hands in the air like, what's going on?
And now a timeout for Oceanside. This is the first time they've been back on their heels. A big run to Rivera to start the drive, which was the biggest play, 17-yard run. Then a 41-yard pass is in here as well in this drive. Hanahan's on the move. So just what they want, a flag and a timeout and a commercial break. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Hello from Cruz Chevrolet in North Charleston, joined by
Loss of 3 on the play.
Missed one play. It was a loss of 1 yard. Now it's Shaw. Rivera leading the way again. Arnold grabs him from the back and slides him down at the 4. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, Seeger's also with the assist, and you're just not going to get into the end zone easy against this Oceanside defense. They're trying to hold on to that shutout, and right now Hanahan's got to find a way. Maybe Darren kind of spread them out and then let the big guys take it up the middle.
It'll be a timeout for the Hawks first.
You got 2 plays to come up with 4 yards.
Hello from Cruz Chevrolet in North Charleston, joined by Mark Milroth right now. Year in, year out, the team, yourself, you're supporting high school football in our area. Why is that?
Well, Scotty, part of our fundamental tenet here, we support the Ronald McDonald House, we support high school football, we support a whole bunch of things in the community. Robert Cruz, our owner, is very committed to the Low Country and puts a lot of money and time into supporting various schools and charities.
When they come in here as a customer, what could this group help them out doing?
Oh, Scotty, it's a great time right now in the automobile business here at Cruz Chevrolet. We have 120 pre-owned automobiles, probably the best selection of pre-owned cars here. We're getting in about 100 new vehicles a month. We're all selling them as quick as they get in. It's just a really terrific time.
There's only one thing left to say.
You've got a friend in the car business.
Hanahan wants to punch this thing in like a truck.
Yeah. Hanahan's offense, they're going to spread them out there, and they got trips to the bottom. So let's see what play Art Craig draws up.
With Espinoza at quarterback. Espinoza first snap. It's a touchdown. It floats to Braden Joseph. And Hanahan's on the board with a Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college.
I think Seegers was kind of confused because he had somebody open in the front of him and somebody open in the back of him. But again, nice job by Espinoza throwing the football. The senior, who I believe, Darren, used to be the quarterback a couple of years ago here at Hanahan. He comes up with the big touchdown throw for the Hawks, and the Hawks now finally on the board.
A drive that was keyed by the big play, kept alive by a penalty, and then punched in. They had a 17-yard run from Rivera, a 41-yard pass from Jaden Cummings to Wozniak.
Good offense, nice job by the offensive line. Just giving the quarterback time to complete the play. It's so much easier when you don't have white jerseys, pressuring you and kind of getting in your way of seeing your open receiver. So a nice drive. I that's almost like a character drive, Darren. You know, for Hanahan and the offense, they've struggled all night. They could have easily mailed it in, but they continue to fight. They continue to play. That's got to make Art Craig and his coaching staff happy.
About a 9-play, 80-yard drive.
And this, Darren, will be the first time in the second half this Oceanside offense has been on the field. They've been sitting over, eating hot dogs and French fries over here for the first 7 minutes because their defense has done such a great job and put the only 7 points on the board for them thus far.
Speaking of that, props to the concessions crew here because this has been the best smelling stadium. From like before kickoff, you walk in, they've got burgers and cheeseburgers and hot dogs on the grill, and it's just like wafting around.
And they have the good fries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, if the concession staff heard that shout out, we are located in the press box on the right side. For those wondering.
As you mentioned, they're in a battle of touchbacks between the two kickers tonight, which you don't normally see at the high school level.
No, two good ones here. And Art Craig pointed that out to me today. He said, Morris is a great one. He's had a heck of a year. Art Craig, by the way, is going to be the coach in the North-South game. He's the South coach, and because there's no Shrine Bowl, they had a ton of guys submitted for spots on the roster. It will be a loaded North-South game, and the rosters do come out next week. Here's Vaughn Blue, inside, outside, and down the sideline, breaking free for Vaughn Blue. He's out of bounds. He stepped out all the way back at his own 42. It's a 22-yard run.
And while that's a very impressive run by Blue, a lot of that was assisted by just bad tackling by Hanahan. We talked about it. You got to get these guys on the ground, and you can't have these missed tackles, missed tackle there. So that's 2 missed tackles. So instead of what should have maybe been a 7 or 8 yard gain turns into a 22-yard gain. Those are the types of plays you have to make, especially when you're trailing in a football game in the second half.
He had 124 yards at the half, 127, and he has about 7 more here, knocked down at midfield by Malik Ori.
Wozniak also on the stop. And right now, Blue seems to be kind of getting his second win, carrying the ball on this opening drive.
They should be fresh. They haven't touched the ball.
Exactly. On the ball and high, keeping his eyes up the field.
Took a knee to the head.
You're kind of in that groove. Those things just have a tendency to not really matter. And the Blues having another solid night for the Land Sharks.
2nd down and 2. Shirey had over 100 yards on the ground in the first half, and he's got a Miller Mott College first down on his first carry in the second half. Mark him out at the 37-yard line, a run of 13.
So, hey, Blue, let me give you a little break here. I'll handle this from here. 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half. He's looking to pick up his third. A solid-looking athlete. 5'11", 190, as you mentioned there, and the senior. Doing a nice job of just really kind of being in control of this offense. You talked about just his poise, his composure. Seems to have a really good grasp on what Joe Call wants to do with this offense.
Here's Blue covering it up with 2 hands and then exploding through the line of scrimmage. A first down run for Vaughn Blue.
Yak.
19 yards.
Yak. A lot of yards after contact. You see right here just really running through arm tackles. And once again, his ability to get to that second and third level. That's why he's accumulating so many yards on the ground tonight. While the defense of Hanahan, they've tried to kind of hang in there. This offense of Oceanside just appears to be a little too much for them right now, especially with that massive offensive line of the Land Sharks.
They're big and they're physical, and they're wearing on Hanahan. First down from the 18. Blue. Touchdown Oceanside. Trident Technical College, your future, your college. The first for Blue tonight, the 7th of the year. It comes from 18 yards out.
You can see right there, but the guard, I believe it was Jacob Ashley, did a good job of pulling from his left guard position. It was either Ashley or Freeling. Pulling from that left guard position. And once again, that kick out block and a nice job of Blue allowing that block to take itself out, and he just explodes up the middle. Touchdown for the Land Shark. And that's how you answer the drive for Hanahan.
That was a 5-play, 80-yard drive. 4 of the plays on that drive were either a first down or a touchdown. Explosive, big plays, blowing Hanahan off the ball. It's been that type of a night. This defense has had a tough go for it.
You see, just run behind your block. It actually was 76 there of Jacob Ashley. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. Run behind 76, run behind 78, and chances are you're going to get a lot of yards on the ground.
Remember, Jaden Cummings, the quarterback for Hanahan, went out on the last drive, so we don't know if we'll see him on this upcoming possession.
Yeah, right now, time is of the utmost importance. You mentioned it, Darren. Unfortunately for Hanahan, their offense not really set up to play from behind, as they love to run the football. But now they're going to have to put it up in the air, whether it be Espinoza or if Jaden Cummings can come back in. But much credit to the freshman. I mean, he's taken a pounding tonight, and he has left it all on the field, and hopefully he'll be able to finish this game.
I do not see Jaden Cummings on the sideline. I could easily be screened from him some way, somehow. I don't see him. And Espinoza's running out there. So it's going to be Espinoza, the 5'11 senior who takes over under center for this Hawks team, who just put it in the end zone on the strength of his arm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Darren. And I think I may have done the game with you, or maybe maybe it was Dean. I can't remember. But, yeah, that Espinoza, that name just sounds familiar. That seems to have been maybe 3 or 4 years ago that he was the quarterback. So I just remember his size, being a 5'11 guy back there, but did a good job at that time for the Hanahan program.
Espinoza rides it in the belly of Rivera. They're going to get maybe 3 with 3:30 to go here in the third quarter. They trailed at 21-0. Fumble return for a touchdown opened the scoring to make it 28-0 in the third quarter. And then they've exchanged touchdown. 28-7, now 35-7 as the Hawks operate here with 1 loss in their 6 games against an Oceanside team that's won 3 straight, 4 of 5. And they are looking every bit like the favorites in the region that many thought they would be.
And you always want to be playing your best football, in October, November as you're going into the playoffs, and that's what it appears Oceanside's doing right now.
Off the fingers of Joseph. A flag came in as well.
Let's see who got caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Joseph had his palms up, almost indicating he thinks it's against him. It is. It's pass interference on him.
Trying to get a little clearance, and wisely Joe Call, as you can see, declining the penalty. So let's see what happened here, Darren. I guess right there at the end.
More of a hold, right?
Yeah. Huh. But regardless, it's going to be third down for Hanahan.
No sense to back him up, give him an extra down here when your defense has been controlling things. Joe Call and Art Craig go way back, by the way. They worked a South Carolina camp together as Craig was his first year at Timberland. Call was his first year coaching at a college, and they were roommates at a camp that they worked together at South Carolina. That's how they met back in 2002, 2003. So they've been associates ever since. This is really the first couple of years that they've coached against each other, though, as head coaches, the last 2 years.
Yeah, you got to figure with Joe being at, Somerville being in 5A and Timberland being in, 2A, 3A because of classification. First opportunity to go. And, again, 2 of the better coaches in the low country. Just a lot of football knowledge, a lot of success, and they've done it at the highest level, and just 2 great guys off the field as well.
Yeah, good people. Good roll. Speaking of good people, it's going to be a 50-yard punt there from Moros.
Now it's all about your pride there, and you just cannot allow Oceanside to just run it up, so to speak. You know, you want to make sure you continue to play hard. Oceanside, they're smelling blood in the water since they're the land sharks. So not that they, I guess everybody wants to eat out in the ocean. So yeah, they're smelling blood right now.
Now, if you're a shark, you want to eat out in the ocean.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily want to go out into the ocean and go eat.
That's true too. But these land sharks, they've been very impressive tonight. Very impressive. They want to finish this game off in grand fashion.
And it'll be Blue. Look at, the ease with which he's finding space through the line. It's different than the first half. He had more yards after contact, worked for a little bit more. But it's been a lot of big plays throughout the game, to be perfectly frank.
We were talking about Yak on the last possession, but that's because you're getting a hand on the running back. You don't want more of those plays where you're not getting a hand, and obviously he's just running free up and down the field.
Fourth straight 100-yard game for Blue. Fifth in his last 6 games. And this will be Shirey. And that's enough for the Miller Mott College first down, supporting the Low Country's high school sports with 1:19 left in the third quarter.
Cooper Smith getting in on the action tonight, the junior linebacker. And this really is a two-head monster. We talked about a two-head monster for Hanahan, but you think about it, between Shirey and also Blue, both of those guys well over 100 yards tonight. And just applying a lot of chunk plays for Oceanside. As a team, Darren, coming into this game, Oceanside had carried the ball 234 times for 1,266 yards. That's getting it done on the ground.
Shaw, the first one to hit Blue. Gain of about 3.5.
Good sportsmanship there. You have to think mutual respect, and it starts with the coaches. You talked about how Joe Call and Art Craig have respect for each other, and it's going down to their teams as well. As you see Oceanside holding up the 4 fingers, indicating it's the fourth quarter. Now it's time to finish off the Hawks.
Pretty dominating performance for the Land Sharks on the road here. Up 35-7. They've added 14 to their halftime score. And we head to the fourth on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. The official stats will back up the score you see on the screen here. It is well over 300 yards to about 100 in that range. It's been mostly on the ground, the combination of Shirey and Von Blue for Oceanside. And as much as that's been the story of the game, the defensive front for Oceanside hasn't given Hanahan any room to breathe. And it started the first drive of the game for the Hawks. You saw that this is going to be a tough night for them, and they haven't been able to get any movement.
And conversely, the offensive line of Oceanside has not allowed Hanahan to get any penetration into the backfield to disrupt the running game of Oceanside as well. So safe to say that this game tonight, should the score remain the same, definitely this game was just one in the trenches. And the offensive line and defensive lines of Oceanside were phenomenal tonight against the smaller Hanahan Hawk offensive defensive line.
Art Craig was fearful of that. He was fearful of the size. I mean, I'm not sure if it comes across the screen as clearly as it can here when those two lines just stand up. They're not in the crouch or even there. How much bigger the guys wearing white are than the guys wearing blue. Speaking of blue, Von Blue onto his back. It was Wozniak who knocked him down. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Yeah, when I was talking with Art in the pregame, he goes, that's a college offensive line over there. And I said, yeah, Coach, but you got the quickness on them because they're bigger, but hopefully you're quicker. And he said, we'll just see how this goes tonight. So, yeah, you're right there. And he was concerned, and rightfully so. This is a very impressive front five for Oceanside on the offensive side.
Blue, untouched until he gets about 13, 14 yards and is wrapped by Keller. A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, making your house home again after disaster struck.
Look at Jacob Ashley, 76, just the lead guy, blocking, opening up the holes. If I'm Von Blue tonight, I'm taking the entire offensive line to Burger King or McDonald's because I'm going to pay for their meals because they've opened up big holes for this running back all night long.
Speaking of that, Pickett, Pittsburgh's quarterback in the ACC. By the way, more people need to talk about him or at least pay attention to what he's doing.
He's pretty good.
He's having one unbelievable year. He's got some NIL deal with a steakhouse, I think.
Smart.
Yeah, and he's got it, so he feeds his offensive line pretty much after the games. That was Cooper Smith, number 20, 34. Well, that was 24, not Josh Smith. Caden Gaddis is 24 right there with him.
So Adam Keller. And you still like to see that in the fourth quarter. 5 blue jerseys still pursuing the football, not giving up, at least making it difficult for Oceanside. As we take a look there at the big guy, 6'6", 300 pounds, Jacob Ashley. You said he's already committed to Charlotte. So he'll be a 49er. That program has blossomed. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he's still playing, but at one point, Keegan Williams, the running back from Oceanside 2 years ago.
Okay.
He went to Charlotte.
Will Healy is, a lot of people are high on Will Healy, the head coach there. Von Blue skips through an ankle tackle, angles his way close to the 25, and close to another A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down. Caden Gaddis was there with the stop.
Impressive run here once again on the counter play, but here, Blue, you're running to the left. Put that football in the left hand, buddy, just in case when they knock it out of your hands, it goes out of bounds, but it's still a tough run by Blue. So many different looks this Oceanside offense gives you counter plays, jet sweeps, quarterback keepers. They're doing it all tonight.
Finally, they'll actually give it off to Bryce Bennett. They faked it a couple of times, and a couple times recently. Tackled up high after a run of 8 by Malik Ori.
It's almost like they're setting him up for a bigger play. Now, fortunately for Joe Call and the offense, you're up 35-7, so you don't necessarily need to have any tricks like a halfback pass or anything of that nature, but he's done a nice job of calling this game, keeping this Hanahan defense off balance, not necessarily knowing what's coming. And again, when you have those trees on the left side, it's real easy for Blue or those guys to kind of hide behind there. And by the time you know where the ball is, unfortunately, they're running by you.
Landsharks using more of the play clock now than they had been. He only needed, It was a short 5. It was closer to 3.5 or 4, to be honest.
What's also going to be interesting, Darren, is the amount of plays Oceanside has run. It's got to be at minimum 2-1, probably more like 3-1 to this Hanahan defense. This defense is just worn down. They've been on the field almost the entire night against this massive offensive unit of Oceanside.
Joe Call said we got to be physical every time we're out there. It's the only thing that's going to win a game like this. He said that about 8 hours ago. It's proving to be true. Another A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down. Cooper Smith with the stop, making your house home again after disaster strikes. Guys in the truck are going to have a tough decision to make. Our player of the game, Vaughn Blue or Shirey?
I only would go with Shirey because he's got 3 touchdowns tonight. Couple running, or 1 throwing. Also,
we just got through the headset.
But Blue has been very impressive tonight as well.
So the guys back there, they know what packages they're building. They don't tell us yet. But they've alluded to the fact that we're wrong.
Sorry. And right now, Blue's like, yeah, guys in the truck, I want to be the player of the game.
I'm going to get 1 more touchdown here, and this is how it's going to go.
Great blocking once again, as you can see those guys just really doing a good job of getting under those pads and just controlling and getting those guys going backwards on their heels.
I mean, in fairness, Blue, whatever the final numbers will be, is over 200 yards. He's likely over it already. He had 127 at the half.
Really, the guys in the truck really cared. They'd give it to the offensive linemen. All 5 of them.
I see what you're doing. Here comes another touchdown for Blue. A Trident Technical College touchdown, your future and your college. And now Blue's got 2 touchdowns to Shirey's 3.
He does indeed. Another easy run around the left side for Blue. Blue's been in the red zone all night long. Nothing fancy. Puts that foot in the ground, takes off, stops on a dime, turns up. Touchdown, Oceanside.
12 plays, 70 yards. God, they've got 80-yard touchdown drives, a couple of them. That's a 70-yard touchdown drive. They had a 76-yard touchdown drive. When you see the numbers, and some of them, by the way, they're courtesy of David Shelton. You can read about this game in the Post and Courier tomorrow. Some of these numbers are going to be eye-popping.
Yes.
QFS Transportation, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Show and the voice of the Hanahan Hawks. The Booster Club is proud to announce the 2nd annual Booster Club Banquet and Oyster Roast fundraiser on Saturday, March 12th at Exchange Park, Ladson. Enjoy all-you-can-eat oysters, barbecue, and drinks, as well as live music and live and silent auctions. This once-a-year event is the largest fundraiser for Hanahan athletes, and you won't want to miss it. Tickets are available now at HanahanAthleticBoosterClub.com.
Won't be much to complain about for Joe Call and the Land Sharks after this one. 42-7 now as we bring you back. Alongside Everett German, I'm Darren Goldwater. You can catch Everett soon doing all the College of Charleston games. How far? We're less than a month.
November the 11th, the season
starts.
Way
less than a month.
Yes. Exciting times down at TD Arena. was talking with Scott Eisberg and Natalie before the game. Of course, you can catch them at 11:05 on ABC News 4 with the Scoreboard Show.
Yep.
So, hey, you guys planning on making the trip to Cameron Indoor Stadium this year? I mean, Citadel's playing there. Last time for Coach K. Got to head down and capture that.
I would imagine that is on their list of things to do.
Those guys are Scott's the best. They're a high score. Man, I like it because, they cover everything. The big boys, the skis and pleases. They tease a little bit about football. Of course, tonight they'll have to, I guess, kind of update the Clemson-Syracuse game, which, by the way, fourth quarter, Clemson clinging to a 14-7 lead. But, yeah, Scott Eisberg does a great job.
Clemson is 0 for 5 against the spread this year. They were favored by 13.5. A lot of people thought that was a low number. It is a low number. They're only up by 7.
Yeah. Tough run.
But, yes.
By Shaw.
They do a great job. QFS Transportation, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet at 11. Eisberg, Natalie Spalla, they'll have highlights from this. And every other game, like the West Ashley Somerville game.
Right.
Fort Dorchester's got stalls, so there are probably a highlight or two in there.
The coin toss. It's my guy Joe
Bessinger. There'll be some big plays.
Yeah. Of course, speaking of Fort Dorchester, we'll have them next week at Bagwell Stadium, hosting West Ashley.
Yeah, against West Ashley, who at last check was putting it to Somerville.
See if we can get an update on that.
How about our Limerick Heating and Air cool play of the game? Call today, comfortable tonight. Our cool play, that was the first part of it. Here comes the second part of it. Whoop, back the other way. Powell punched it out. Arnold scoop and score. That was the first score of the second half. That made it 28-0. Your Limerick Heating and Air cool play of the game. Call today, comfortable tonight.
When you're a defensive end and you see that ball laying on the ground with a scoop and score opportunity, man, those eyes get big and you are just excited.
Espinoza remains in there at quarterback. That was Cooper Smith with the carry. It's just
Cooper Smith on the carry, no gain on the night.
Trying to find us an update on that. Somerville.
You can go to the JB and Goldwater app.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's a link right there. By the way, that's noon to 2 every day. You can find it on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, then the podcast.
Download that.
You may as well, because there's a link right there. See?
What's the score?
South Carolina High School League and Skis and Scores. You click it.
Bam.
Boom. Here you go.
Go ahead.
All you got to do is download that app.
Give us that scoreboard update there, Mr. Goldwater.
I'm not getting good signal, so so we're not going to have an update as of yet. But we can give you the drive of the game. How about we do that?
Is it driven by our friends over at Cruz Chevrolet?
Of course it is. Drive of the game, Cruz Chevrolet on Rivers. You got a friend in the car business. It's going to feature a lot of blue and shirey, whichever drive it is.
Yeah, those guys have pretty much been the workhorses all night tonight. Phenomenal job by the offensive line, opening the holes for those guys to have a big night. And just a dominating performance by the Land Sharks, capped off with a touchdown. Is this the one by Blue?
Get off. One of 2 touchdowns tonight for Vaughn Blue, who's over 200 yards on the ground.
And don't forget, Darren, you've got a friend in the car business.
On Rivers. Right past Northwoods Mall. Backup quarterback getting some run now for Oceanside in a 41-7 game with 4 minutes to go. Edward Riedenbach, 6'1" sophomore.
We talk about the scoreboard show, Darren, and really a big ups to all of the Photog guys as well. There's so many high school football games on Friday night, and Natalie and Scott do such a great job of having not only the scores, but highlights from all of them as well. So big ups to them and the whole crew over at ABC News 4.
If you haven't watched that wrap-up show, I'd encourage you to do it because the camaraderie between the two is fun. It's a fun watch. You get the highlights and you get some laughs. It's exactly what high school sports should really be about. Tucker Swisher on the carry. It'll be third down at about 3.
Now, the big question, Darren, is the big boss over at Channel 4, Mary Margaret. She's a Clemson grad, and I think she was a cheerleader at Clemson.
She was.
So the question is she watching Clemson-Syracuse, or is she watching this broadcast?
How many Clemson fans are still sticking in with that Clemson game right now?
They just want to see them win right now, and they're up 14-7.
Our ratings are getting boosted by these struggles of the Tigers.
And yes, Darren and I we're keeping up with it here in the press box. Oh.
Third down and about 3. Here's Swisher. Oof, helmet pops off there of Caden Gaddis. But Gaddis did his job. Kept him short of the yard to gain with 2.5 to play.
Of course, Gaddis will have to come off for a play. And a nice run here by Tucker Swisher. Nice stop by the Hawks. You know, to look up and down this roster at Oceanside, a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors, no freshmen, a couple of sophomores, very experienced veteran bunch that Joe Call has, and they're expecting big things over in Mount Pleasant, one of the 3 high schools now in Mount Pleasant, as everybody seems to be moving to 29464, 29465, 29466 as well, correct?
Is there a 66 there now, too?
I think out there in, what do they call it, North Mount Pleasant?
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
We're getting close to Myrtle Beach. How about our player of the game? It's the Reliable Equipment player of the game. And it's going to be Vaughn Blue. Because the truck spoiled that for us when we alluded to it, and actually we kind of spoiled it, and then they did, so we'll take the blame. But Vaughn Blue gets the credit. Heck of a night, couple of touchdowns, over 200 yards.
He's been about as reliable as you can count on tonight. He's been a workhorse for this offense, carrying the football, picking up blocks. You know, they didn't really throw it to him out of the backfield, but I'm sure had they done that, he would have caught the ball as well. So congratulations to Vaughn Blue, our reliable player of the game. All our guys out there in center field, Darren, on the trucks, on the lifts.
On the Reliable Equipment lift. See
there
that sticker right there? That's right. The end zone scissor lift provided by Reliable Equipment. We rent the good stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, Reliable, if they saw me and my handy skills, I don't think I'm the guy they probably want to target, because
they don't. You're not.
I'm just not.
You don't want to rent equipment from them?
I'm just not very handy.
You couldn't handle that scissor lift?
No, something would get broken. Just me turning it on, I'm sure.
I don't think I've ever been up in a scissor lift.
I have no desire.
That's a perfect punt. That spiral turned itself over. And a return of about a handful.
Great coverage.
Wozniak.
Zach Hagenin on the stop. So, yeah, I'd be shocked, Aaron, if this Oceanside team, if they don't go far in the playoffs. They have the girth needed up front. They excel in the trenches. They have the playmakers. On the outside, got a quarterback that can run it and throw it. Got a big wide receiver.
They're battle-tested.
And a tailback that can, quite honestly, run between the tackles or, as we saw on that option play, bounce it outside as well. So, and then defensively, they're just scrappy. They may not be the fastest team defensively, but they've got football players. Those guys pursue. They're sideline to sideline. They get after it. And it's always 5 or 6 black helmets around the ball every single time.
A lot of the starters are still in defensively. Carson Arnold, who holds an offer from the Citadel. He's the one who made the tackle and then had to be held back.
Also, Matt Brown getting his nose in the action as well. The 6-foot senior. Everybody get a little chippy.
This is a big rivalry game for Oceanside. This is a game that they've been pointing towards. Both of them have been. And there was some juice in the building this morning. That was the first question I asked Joe when I talked to Coach Call. I said, what's it like over there? He said, man, I think the biggest thing we missed last year in the COVID year, he said, was the juice in the building. When was the energy in the building? Because quite honestly, in his words, high schools feed off the success of a football team. If colleges can too.
Right.
There's more, shoulders back, head up, walking tall.
And that's a small, close-knit community over there at Oceanside. I think they roughly may have had 500 students in the entire high school. But, again, everybody's close. They support each other. I obviously know a little more about the basketball team and the program that Quentin Hollis is building over there, and we've had some players there as well. So, yeah, it's a good thing going on over at Oceanside, which is, I don't know, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes away from Georgetown, it seems like.
I'm telling you.
On the other side of Wando.
There will come a point when Mount Pleasant and Myrtle Beach are just kind of like
traffic
throw a ball.
Right.
We're getting there. We're also getting close to the end of this game. This is probably the last play. Shaw carries it again and is bounced backwards, and that'll probably be it. A tough night for the Hanahan Hawks, a dominating night for the Oceanside Land Sharks. A statement win, a battle-tested team with a non-region schedule to set them up, in Joe Call's words, for this game. They installed stuff through the year to be ready for this game, and boy, did it pay off. They pointed towards it, and they're going to walk away 41-7 victors at Hanahan and solidly in control of Region 8 3A.
But Darren, even for Hanahan, a disappointing loss. They didn't play their best tonight, but still some positives that Art Craig can take from this game that will allow his team to build on it and finish strong. Again, still a lot left to play for. And well, honestly, Darren, if things go the right way, these teams could play again in the playoffs.
Absolutely. They could see each other again in the playoffs. We'll step aside. We'll bring you back for the trophy presentation. It's 4 straight wins now for Oceanside. It's more points allowed for any opponent this year for the Hanahan Hawks. On QFS Transportation, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. About all you can ask for if you're an Oceanside coach, player, fan. 41-7, our QFS Transportation Trophy presentation. Empowering our drivers and trucking agents to succeed, our number one priority. Down to Trooper Bob.
Yeah, we got a reliable equipment rental player of the game here, number 24. Impressive plays there. Coach, give us an overview of the last 4 quarters.
Yeah, I tell you, we challenged these guys all week to be physical. We had to be able to run the ball and be able to stop the run, and we did that. Von Blue had a fantastic night running the ball behind a great offensive line. Can't say enough about our defense. And went out there and just shut out one of the best running teams in the entire state of South Carolina. Our defense stepped up tonight.
Well, you said, offense, defense, impressive kicking, too, tonight.
Yeah, heck yeah. Our kickers work hard. They came out there and flipped the field. Whenever, we can have a guy kick off and kick it in the end zone to make the other team start on the 20, they got to drive a long way. And then Coleman stepping up, hitting some big punts tonight to flip the field. That was great.
Well, I got a trophy for you guys for this big, impressive win tonight. Here you go.
Couple more games, and it's on to the playoffs for the Land Sharks, who win this one 41-7. We appreciate all the sponsors who make this presentation possible. Next week, it'll be West Ashley and Fort Dorchester on QFS Transportation. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. For the highlights of this one and games all around the Low Country, tune into ABC News 4 at 11 for their QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, with Scott Eisberg and Natalie Spalla. You won't regret it. For our entire crew here, my partner Everett German, I'm Darren Goldwater. Land Sharks win it 41-7.